You know what your problem is?
I ain't got no problem, man. Don't tell me. Don't tell me what my problem is.
No one, not even the seasoned crew, could have predicted the electrifying drama that unfolded when Scrappy and Khaotic crossed paths. The cameras were rolling, capturing every intense moment of a season already packed with headline-worthy events. What began as a typical staged confrontation quickly escalated into a heated, jaw-dropping clash, delivering the kind of drama that only reality TV can provide. Both the cast and viewers were left stunned. The day started like any other on set, with the team preparing for another round of high-stakes storytelling, featuring multiple storylines brewing behind the scenes. However, Scrappy's energy was noticeably different. Struggling with personal pressures, including relationship drama, family tensions, and the relentless spotlight of the show, Scrappy had reached his breaking point. This wasn't just another stressful day, it was the perfect storm. Meanwhile, Khaotic, the provocative newcomer known for his fiery attitude and sharp tongue, had been eagerly awaiting this moment. From the day he joined the show, Khaotic had made it his mission to stir the pot, unafraid to ruffle feathers if it meant staying in the spotlight. But Scrappy wasn't impressed. For weeks, Khaotic had been subtly undermining Scrappy, poking at his past relationships and questioning his role in the love and hip-hop community. The scene began innocently enough. As soon as the cameras started rolling, the producers anticipated a typical verbal showdown between the two men. But the tension quickly spiraled. Khaotic's jab, "How long have you been on this show and still can't get your life together?" cut deeper than expected, hitting Scrappy where it hurt. Scrappy, a veteran of conflict on and off the screen, tried to keep his composure. But Khaotic's relentless taunts wore him down. "Man, you better watch your words," Scrappy growled, his voice low and charged with warning. Khaotic smirked, unfazed. "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking." Washed up vibes, bro. At that moment, the atmosphere exploded. Scrappy's frustration boiled over, and in a split second, he lunged forward, breaking the thin line between words and action. Security rushed in, but not before the cameras captured every second of the fiery exchange. This wasn't just another altercation. It was a defining moment in a season that continues to deliver unforgettable drama. Fans are already buzzing about what's next as Scrappy and Khaotic's rivalry reaches new heights. Khaotic's head snapped to the side, leaving the crew, who had been recording with bated breath, to gasp collectively. His expression shifted to one of utter shock and disbelief. Moments earlier, Scrappy's words had sliced through the tense air like a knife, but now his hand had lashed out, delivering a sharp slap that reverberated across the set. The sound of the collision seemed to freeze time, leaving everyone momentarily stunned. Khaotic stood frozen, stunned and enraged. But the slap had ignited a fire that neither man seemed willing to extinguish. "You think you can just slap me and get away with it?" Khaotic bellowed, his voice dripping with fury. Security moved in to restrain him, but it was too late. His temper had snapped. His eyes blazed with anger as he surged towards Scrappy, and the cameras zoomed in to capture every electrifying second. Scrappy, standing his ground, screamed back at Khaotic. His fists clenched and his chest heaving with rage, he roared, "Your mouth has been running for too long. Now you see what happens when you don't know how to shut it." Adrenaline coursed through both men as they squared off, with the cast and crew scattered across the set, watching in stunned silence. The tension in the room was unbearable, broken only by the sound of heavy breathing and muffled shouts. Realizing the situation had spiraled far beyond their expectations, the producers called for an immediate break. The crew rushed in, separating the two men and pulling them in opposite directions. But the damage had already been done. The slap wasn't just a physical blow. It symbolized everything simmering beneath the surface between Scrappy and Khaotic. The power struggle and raw competition between the two men had reached a boiling point. Even though the physical clash was over, their animosity burned brighter than ever. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta had just delivered one of its most explosive moments, with cameras capturing every second of the fallout. For Scrappy, the slap wasn't just a reaction, it was a declaration. He would not let anyone, especially Khaotic, humiliate him in front of the world or threaten his place in the spotlight. Meanwhile, Khaotic, though seething with anger, wore a defiant smile, as if to signal that this fight was far from over. Adding to the tension, Bambi stood nearby, her face betraying her unease. She had heard Khaotic's offensive remark and knew her husband wouldn't take it lightly. Scrappy's muscles tightened, the tension in the air thick as a storm cloud. For Khaotic, conflict was nothing new. But this time, he had pushed too far. The cast members braced themselves, knowing the stakes were personal this time. Scrappy wasn't just defending his pride. He was protecting his wife's honor. With his patience worn thin, he lunged at Khaotic in one swift, decisive motion, silencing the murmurs of the crowd. Khaotic, though clearly aware of how out of hand things had become, wore a provocative smirk, almost daring Scrappy to take it further. Although Bambi had always known that Scrappy would protect her, witnessing him stand up so fiercely ignited a newfound pride in their bond. When Lil Scrappy abruptly raised his hand and delivered a sharp slap to Khaotic's face, the sound reverberated through the room, leaving the cast and crew in stunned silence. Bambi's expression shifted from relief to pride, a testament to the unbreakable tie they shared. The silence was deafening, the air thick with shock and tension. Some cast members exchanged uncertain glances, unsure of how to react, while others seemed secretly relieved that someone had finally stood up to Khaotic's relentless chaos. As the cameras panned across the room, one question hung heavily in the air: how would this explosive moment reshape the group dynamic moving forward? The atmosphere on set had shifted irrevocably, but the show pressed on. Scrappy's actions sent a clear message: family comes first, no matter the cost. The slap wasn't just an impulsive reaction. It was a declaration of his fierce loyalty to Bambi and his refusal to tolerate disrespect. Khaotic, the master of provocation, found himself in unfamiliar territory. Accustomed to being the center of attention, he now faced a reality far more intense than he'd anticipated. Would Khaotic strike back, or had Scrappy finally proven to be his match? Bambi, standing nearby, felt deeply moved by Scrappy's aggressive defense. Their bond had always been strong, but in that moment, it felt unshakable. She had overheard Khaotic's cutting remarks earlier and knew Scrappy wouldn't let them slide. His fierce devotion was undeniable, and the pride in her eyes mirrored the intensity of his actions. The rest of the cast remained frozen in stunned silence. Some wrestled with how to respond, while others secretly celebrated Khaotic's long overdue comeuppance. The message was unmistakable. Lil Scrappy would go to any lengths to protect those he cared about, and no one, not even Khaotic, could stand in his way. As the cameras continued rolling, capturing every moment of the fallout, the question lingered: what happens next? Would Khaotic retaliate, or had he finally met his match in Scrappy? One thing was certain: this drama was far from over. The slap wasn't just a clash between two men, it was a seismic shift in the power dynamics of love and hip-hop Atlanta.